Good morning. Something sweet's about to happen. I'm here. Happy Sunday and happy fall. It's cooler outside. Here in Florida, cool is relative, but it's not steaming hot, and we're excited about that. It's going to get even cooler this week. So I'm trying to lean into fall, and I'm excited about that. When I think about fall, I think about a lot of things, but one of the things I think about is apples. And that makes me think about last week. I had such a wonderful trip last week to be with a family that has grafted me in. And I think that's just so important. Family means so many things, and it doesn't necessarily mean genetics. With our families, my children and my sister and my nieces and my nephews, and they are infinitely important to me. But I also have family that has become family because we've fallen in love with each other. And I think that is such a wonderful God given ability that we have, and I love it. So I got some recipes from this family that now I love and they love me. And I want to bake one of those today that's important to them and it's going to become important to me. It's called a harvest apple cake. We're going to start with that this morning. The first thing I have to do is prepare the apples. And so I'll be doing that in just a minute. Um, so I'll stop and come back to you in a minute when I get ready to start cutting up and getting the apples ready to put into this very delicious cake. And just one more thing, it's fall in the South, so it's football. Yesterday was such a football day. Uh, Tensions ran high, but my Alabama team came out on top, even if it was just for the score. So we have to end this segment of our video this morning by saying, Roll Tide. Okay, I'm back and I'm ready to get started. The first thing I want to show you is the kind of apples we're going to use. I told you last week I was on a great adventure all around Maryland, Washington, D.C., and guess what? It really is fall there. And we were able to go to a place called Butler's Orchard. Such a grand place. I'll put a link to that there. And there we ate Stayman wine sap apples. They are absolutely delicious. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? They're so pretty. They're so flavorful. They have the crisp tartness of a Granny Smith with some added flavor and a little bit of added sweetness. I think they're going to be perfect for this cake. So I'm really excited to get started with those. I need 4 cups of them chopped. So I'm going to use a very, very convenient piece of equipment that I have and many of you probably already have it. It's an apple. It cores, slices, and dices. It does almost everything except eat the apple for you. So I'm going to be using this to cut the apples up. I need 4 cups. So I'm going to show you how this works. You take you take your um, you take your apple. You see these prongs right here. I'm going to take the apple and push it onto those prongs. There's a cover for those when you're finished because they're sharp, sharp, sharp. And then you see this little blade right here? That's what's going to take the peel off this apple. And it takes it off so thinly, you're not wasting a lot of the apple to do that. There's a little contraption on the bottom that attaches it to the counter so it'll be still. And we're going to start. So we turn the crank, and eventually it will make contact with that, and it'll move around, and you can see that it's peeling. I think I may need to adjust this before I do another apple. It looks like it's still going to have the peel on it, but that might work okay. We'll see. I'll fix it before we do the next one. Pull that off. As you can see, the core is right here. Pull that off and discard it. This needs to be adjusted a little bit. Not exactly. Oh, there we go. I did I did something wrong. So before we do the next one, it'll actually peel. And we'll work on that one in a minute when I'm getting ready to dice them. So patience with me. I'm just learning to do some of these things. So we're doing great though. I hope everybody's ready for a wonderful Sunday in the fall. We're going to start this next apple. We will peel 4 of them, and then I won't peel the last one until I see if we need it. Here we go. Let's see if this doesn't work better. Look at that. Yes. The peel is coming off and it's being diced at the same time. Don't you love it when a demonstration actually comes together the way it's supposed to? It's wonderful. As you can see, that is accordion slice. It's going to be very easy to cut up, and it's peeled and everything is ready, and we have another core. So I was watching somebody, and I may save these. I haven't decided for sure yet, that you can use the peels of these apples and freeze them and come back and make jelly or a filling for fried pies or things with them. I think that would be fun. So I may freeze these to see if I want to use them at a later date. Okay, apple number 3. We will get that one peeled. The core removed. Whoops, that one broke. There we go. There we go. All right, we're going to do one more, and then we'll let you go to make sure I don't want to peel a bunch that I don't need. They'll be delicious to eat if they're not all diced up. So don't want to overdo. Am I going the wrong way? No, that's correct. Okay, can you give me just a minute, see what's happening with my machine? Okay, got that one figured out. So we're ready to do the last one we're going to do before I measure. And then we'll see. Let's do this last one. Here we go. We're peeling, slicing, dicing. What a wonderful invention. How many hours have we spent peeling and chopping things? And if we don't have to do those things, then that's great. So I've got this. It wasn't very expensive. I will put the link that I got it at Amazon, and you too can have one of these. So I'm going to chop these and get them ready to do. Once I get them chopped, and I have 4 cups, I will put them in a bowl and put the sugar. It's 2 cups of sugar, and they have to sit in the sugar for an hour. So I'll be back with you in just a little bit. Hi, okay, we're back, and we're had the apples marinating in that sugar to release the juices and that kind of stuff for an hour. And now we're ready to start combining this cake. Our oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and it will bake for an hour once we get this batter mixed up. So the first thing I want to do is show you these apples. They've been sitting, uh, 4 cups of apples and 2 cups of sugar. They've been sitting for an hour. Do you see the juice in there? You can see how liquidy. Those were completely dry apples when I put them in there. And that sugar starts to dissolve and to bring out the natural sugar and liquid in that's in those apples. So we're going to pour them into this big bowl. There's sugar at the bottom. We don't want to miss any of that. So we're going to scrape all this out. It's another one of my beautiful pottery bowls. What an addiction. I love Polish pottery. I love finding it somewhere at a bargain. And it's a fun hobby. My daughter says I can't have any more unless I'm willing to get rid of some, but I'm not. So we'll just have to find another spot to put it. That's all there is to it. So those are in the bowl. The next thing we're going to do, we have 1 cup of oil, a flavorless oil, whatever kind of oil you use. I usually use the store brand, so we have a cup of that. We're going to pour that into this cup. We're going to do 2 eggs. Confession, I don't always break them separately, but I will today because I know that's the correct way to do it. So I'm going to break 1, put it in the oil, and then I will do the other one. And put it in. And we're going to whisk those together. Eggs, oil, and vanilla. Almost forgot the vanilla. The recipe says that we should use a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm always generous with that. You know, I make my own. Today I'm not using vanilla I made because I bought some of this Watkins brand. I like it pretty well. When I had some vanilla brewing and it wasn't ready to use yet, so I'm trying to use it up. I'm going to use a teaspoon and a slosh. Is that pretty good measuring? For me it is. That's the way I do it. So I'm going to whisk that together really nicely. You can see what that looks like. Just a nice mixture. This is not a mixture that you need to pull out your mixer for. You can do this all by hand. So the next thing I'm going to do is pour that in my apples. All right. I'm sure this is a very delicious cake and it's going to be great, but I've never made it before, so I have to look at the recipe. So many things I make, I've made so many times I don't even need to look at the recipe anymore, but for this I do. So you can see this is just a mixture of the apples and the oil, the vanilla, and the eggs. Okay, the next step says that I should add the flour, and we have measured 3 cups of all-purpose flour. You can see that. You can sift it if you'd like. Flour anymore comes already so processed that I don't always sift it. You certainly can if you would like. So the flour and the baking soda, we need 2 teaspoons of baking soda. I'm going to put those in. You can whisk those dry ingredients together if you'd like to make sure that they don't clump. I feel pretty confident that when I'm mixing, I'm going to mix it well enough that it's not going to clump together. So I'm starting to stir these apples and flour together. And see down in there where that's mixing. Look what a beautiful batter, all full of apples. Looks delicious. I can't wait. We're going to keep stirring, make sure we've stirred all the dry ingredients up from the bottom, and that everything is completely blended together. And then we'll add our spices and our pecans and get ready to put this in the pan. The recipe calls for cinnamon and for nutmeg. It calls for a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to use the half teaspoon on this because I used the teaspoon for the vanilla and it's wet. So I'm going to measure out. It'll take 4 of these since it's only a half because we want 2 teaspoons. So we're going to use 4 of these, generous. It smells so good. I love the smell of cinnamon. It smells like fall. It smells like Thanksgiving in my house. I love it when it's like that. And nutmeg, and it calls for a teaspoon of nutmeg. So I have that here. Another wonderful, wonderful smell. So nice. So I've got in my cinnamon and my nutmeg. The apples are already in. Now here's a little thing. It calls for raisins. Guess what? I don't like raisins cooked in cakes. So I'm going to leave them out. And that's okay. That's how I make this mine. If you like raisins, put them in. If you don't, don't. If you like dates, put them in. If you don't, don't. When we bake, some things are very scientific in the amount of flour and sugar and that you have to do that. When we talk about add-ins, we can make it the way we like it, the way our family enjoys it. So I have, it calls for walnuts. I don't have walnuts, I have pecans. I'm from the South. And so I'm going to put in a heaping half cup of chopped pecans, and I'll stir this batter together. Reminds me of a story. I grew up in a very small rural town in Alabama. We lived in a cotton mill village where everything there was geared around the cotton mill. Most of the people who lived in my community worked at the cotton mill. My grandparents did. So we were all like a little compound of family. My aunts and uncles and my cousins, we all lived close by. I will always treasure Sunday afternoons where we sat under my grandmother's pecan tree and we cut watermelons and we ate them, all the cousins together. And sometimes we would hand crank homemade ice cream, but it was always something under my grandmother's pecan tree. So pecans are near and dear to me. I buy pecans in bulk from a company called Johnston Pecan Farms in South Georgia. I find that they have more flavor and they're better tasting than the ones you get at the store. So I keep them in my freezer. You can see this batter is thick. There's a lot of it. It's going to be a delicious cake. So the next step in the process is to take this bundt pan. Mine is a nice heavy bundt pan. It's not thin, so that it cooks evenly. It says to grease and flour it. And I am lazy, so I buy the Baker's Joy. It's spray. It already has flour in it. And so I'm just going to use that. I'll spray this real well. Be sure to get down into the nooks and crannies so that we don't want this cake to stick. So we'll have all of that together here in just a minute. When you're greasing, remember the post in the middle and that it gets greased as well. It's nice and greased. I've left out one ingredient and I want to go back and add it because it's very important. It calls for a teaspoon of salt. I use kosher salt. What I have right now is a little coarser ground than I like, but it works. So I'm going to make sure I add that. I think it would not be well to leave that out. So let me get my salt. Put that in. I'll give it another little mix, and then we're going to be pouring this batter into the pan. I can't wait to see how the kitchen smells while this is baking. All right, here we go. Gotta get this batter into this pan. Try to make sure that it goes all around and it's in there pretty evenly. It smells good already and it hasn't even started baking. So, don't you love recipes that have been handed down and your siblings remember having it together? Those things are very important. I always laugh when I hear kids say, my mom makes the best, fill in the blank. Everybody's mom makes the best for her family. That's what we remember, and that's what is familiar and good for us. And it's not just baked for flavor, it's baked for love. And I think that's super important. But we're going to put this cake in the oven. It's preheated to 350 degrees and set the timer for 1 hour. When it's been in for an hour, I'll bring you back and we'll see what it looks like. I can't wait. All right, the cake has been in the oven for an hour. I did the test with my Pampered Chef cake tester, and it looks like it's done. You want to see it in the pan? Here it is. Look at that. Doesn't it look delicious? It's still hot. It's still very, very hot. And you can see it right there. And just we're going to try to turn it out onto this cake plate and show you how it looks. So let me get my pot holders and we will get ready to do that. All right, this is the way I do it. I don't know if this is right or wrong. The bottom line is I don't know if there is any right or wrong. We just do it the way we do it, right? So we're going to take this cake plate and we're going to put it on here. My hands are pretty used to heat, so I think we can do this. So we're just going to flip it over. I heard it drop out. So excited. Let me see if I can get this pan off of here. It is just beautiful. We can't see it on the camera yet, but there it is. Is that not beautiful? I can't wait. We're going to let it cool for just a little while and then we'll cut it and we'll see what it tastes like. It looks absolutely delicious. Hope it will. I'll see you again soon. All right, our cake is out of the oven. It's been cooling for a good while. Actually, I took a little nap, and so we're ready for you to see it. And let's look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? It's such a beautiful cake. We're going to cut a slice and see what it tastes like. Let's see here. Just a little slice. Sabrina, are you ready for a taste?
Yes.
Oh, great. I'm so glad. It's taste test time. So we're going to see what it tastes like. You're going to see, isn't that beautiful? Look at those apples in there. Oh, I can't wait to see what it tastes like. Okay, Sabrina, you first. You first. Here you go. Mmm. Okay, now I'm going to take a little taste. I'm ready. Mmm. That is so delicious. The apples are so good. They still have a little bit of bite. Mmm. So very good. I am so glad you came with me today to watch this cake coming together. I've never made it before. I'm very happy with the result. If you like this video, could you hit the subscribe button, please? Subscribe, like, and the alarm bell so that you'll know when a new video is posted. So I'm hoping you're having the very best Sunday and that something sweet happens to you very soon. Have a great day.